Hello, everyone. Good morning. No, honestly, guys, I just want to see in the comments, how have you enjoyed the last 4 weeks? If you've been consistent for the last 4 weeks, please tell us in the comments.
Maximum capacity reach.
Yes, and how have you enjoyed the last 4 weeks? Tell us. Is anybody saying anything? Okay, I'm seeing hello from Ifelua, super from Chioma, amazing. Vincent, has been an awesome exposure. Yes. You know, so the essence of doing all of this is that you should be able to share this with your prospects. We're not saying you should go speak the medical jargons. We're just simply saying that we hope you understand why our products stand out, you know, why our products are literally very different. Now, what I did, when we started the introduction, the very first day, we had said that the Longreach products are not just products. Longreach decided to invest a lot of energy into research in their massive research and development centers to ensure that they come out with a product or with products that actually give you a better lifestyle. I think Longreach mission is actually committed to a beautiful lifestyle. And then we've always said things like better life, better future. Their vision is actually to be the world's top solution providers when it comes to beauty and health. So this is what Longreach is actually after. They are after making sure that just from their use of their products, they provide solutions to common health and beauty problems that can leave you aging, you know, backwards, looking beautiful, younger, healthier, you know, just keep yourselves active. And when we talk about modern technology, I'm pretty sure we know that the hub of modern technology is Asia. And I'm so proud to associate with a company known as Longreach, who is like one of the centers of modern technology in Asia. So we are good, our products are great. So when we talk to you about our products, you know, when we talk to you about our products and show you what our products do, you should just be like, what? Call everybody, your neighbors, your whole village. You guys must hear this. All right, so I'm seeing a test. Someone says, yes, so I have a testimony regarding this. I shared the first video with someone, and the person bought the energy pot. I introduced it as a solution to the health problem. My people, this presentation is powerful. Oh, that's amazing. Someone sent me this privately. Yes, you're right. Good knowledge of the products will help in our networking business and solve people's health and beauty problems. Yeah, Longreach aims to be the top solution providers when it comes to that. So whatever problems you've got, Longreach can help. So I'm going to go on now to talk about the sanitary napkin range. So permit me to share my slide. I'll try and keep the medical jargons to a minimum. I just want to tell you what stands out as sanitary napkins. What makes it a sanitary napkin that it's of so much value that you think that the money you're paying you should be paying more. That's the honest truth. You should be paying more, you know. So 1 minute, please. So we're talking about the sanitary napkin. So we've talked about the mosquito repellent already. So let's get in and start talking. So I'll take us through a bit of history, just a little bit. When, as far back as you can remember, our great-grandmothers used the cotton cloth for their period. True or true? I'm sure we can remember that, right? So the cotton cloth was what they used. And that's something like you can see here. They'll use it, they'll wash it up, they'll hang it, and they'll use it again. It wasn't something they discarded. That is all they knew. But of course, you can imagine the hygienic condition here, the risk involved in doing this, you know, they are literally prone to a lot of infection, despite the fact that they use cotton cloths. Then in history, not in Africa, but in developed countries, we had some cups developed at the time from some plastic materials and all of that. Again, it wasn't still very secure. And then from the cups, we had the pads, the first set of pads made from cotton gauze and bandages. They were disposable and then further made antiseptic before use. So the women will use something like a waist belt to hold the pad in place. You know, they had no idea of how they can use the pad on the pants at the time. There was no adhesive for it. And then, of course, in developed countries, they moved from there to develop tampons. Okay, so we got tampons, and then we moved to disposable pads, which we are using today. So that's been the transition. And every time there's been some form of improvement because of some of the challenges, experienced. I remember when tampons was so regular that people were forgetting that they could use pads until the toxic shock syndrome came up in the early 90s, I think, 80s rather. And so there was a lot of noises like what's causing this, it was related to the tampons. And so they started looking for alternatives, so that's the history. Now, so what's the situation today, basically? Basically, it's still a struggle, especially in third world countries, development countries. It's still a struggle to have a practice of good menstrual health and hygiene. Some of the reasons could actually be because of the lack of awareness. Some of us do not understand. I'm serious. The importance, somehow, maybe it's religious, maybe it's cultural. Menstruation is seen as that dirty thing, is a dirty blood, is a wasted blood, so somehow people don't understand that even though it's coming out of, it's a wasted or dirty blood, it's coming out of a very precious part of a woman. I would say the part that makes a woman a woman. So because of lack of awareness or inaccurate information, there have been so many nonsense information passed about, causes of period pains, so many things that people just think out of their head and start talking. So because of lack of awareness, because of inaccurate information, menstrual health and hygiene is still a massive challenge. You have big bodies like UNICEF, WHO, they continue creating awareness and raising a lot of information, providing a lot of information regarding menstruation and how to maintain a good menstrual health and hygiene. Another reason is also the lack of resources and poor facilities. Literally, first of all, the facilities of cleaning yourself, information of, okay, how long are you supposed to use the pad or the panty or the tampons, how long are you supposed to use it, There are no facilities of proper disposal, no facilities to say, okay, you want to change in your place of work or you want to change in school, this is what you should do. So people can actually literally go all day wearing a tampon, a pad, and after some time, of course, once you exceed the manufacturer's guideline, what happens? You start exposing yourself to adverse risks, basically. And then we have the societal myths and taboos, where it's like, hush, 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 hush. I mean, you go on the television, you see people creating awareness of condom, and yet it's hush, hush, hush when it comes to pad. I hear there were even times when people could not walk into a supermarket and confidently buy pad, But I'm happy that doesn't happen much anymore. But even then, some women now these days, even when they want to buy pad, they are coding it, they're hiding it. It's your life, it's your body, it's who you are. You can't hide it. We can't allow this whole secrecy thing make people keep having serious gynecological challenges and they cannot resolve it. Then we've got the stigma, oh, she's on her period, she's dirty. Like, seriously? No, she's not. Yes, I know that because of poor menstrual hygiene, you see people who are on their period who smell, they ooze, terribly. But with education, with proper education, church will go. A woman gets stained and it's a shameful thing. No, it's not. When a woman gets stained, cover her up, help her. She is a woman. It's a beautiful thing to have a period. I can tell you a lot of women would rather have periods than not. So it's a beautiful thing to have your period. So the shame should not be a thing. And then, of course, the social discrimination, societal discrimination, that doesn't allow, quote unquote, don't call me feminism, but the women's ideas, the women's voice to be heard. I saw so many campaigns a couple of years ago where they were saying, how come condoms are giving free and pads are not giving free? Condoms is for sex and it's a choice. Pad is not a choice. It should be something. So I don't understand the social discrimination. I really don't understand all of that. But what I'm trying to say is that these are some reasons that people are not even outspoken, about menstrual hygiene and menstrual health. And so you have people till today still going through several issues, one issue or the other. You go to do researches regarding gynecological issues, fallopian tube blockages, infertilities, majority of these cases are linked to menstrual health. They are linked to poor menstrual health and poor menstrual hygiene, but we don't know. We are thinking it's our village people. We are thinking it's an inherited factor. It is not. With a good menstrual health and hygiene, I can confidently say that the risk of infertility can be reduced by a very large percentage. And that's the honest truth. But because we don't do that, what happens? Life continues and people don't know. Social discrimination is making things worse, lack of awareness. So we need to be more open and more forward in creating awareness. It shouldn't be something that we should do when we want. Sanitary napkins should be something we talk about. Menstrual hygiene should be something we talk about regularly. Today, products used for menstruation include cloth. Yes, some people still use cloth. There are a lot of different forms of refined cloths. Tampons are still in existence. We actually have people who use reusable pads. So you use them, wash them, and use them again. But we also have those who use disposable pads, and we also have menstrual cups that are a lot better than was made in the 18th and 19th centuries, okay? Now, according to a study by UNICEF, the only product out of these 5 that poses the least health risks through the usage, through exposures and everything are the disposable pads, especially if used within the recommended guidelines, okay? But again, disposable pads have transitioned. Remember when I talked about the history of sanitary towels? Disposable pads seems to be the latest, but it's also transitioned. I remember perfectly when I started using disposable pads. They were soft, they were comfortable, they were cotton, they were amazing. And I still remember the way the pads were aligning with the body and all of that. They were made from 100% cotton. The standards then were very high. People were actually obtaining patents for making the healthiest forms of sanitary napkins at the time, right? But then what happened? We started moving from 100% cotton to 90%, 80%. Now I can say that there are a lot of sanitary pad napkins, especially in Africa, that have 0% cotton. So it's mostly polyester, nylon, and recycled materials, synthetic materials. We don't actually use natural cotton anymore for anything, literally. There's no surprise there anyway, because that's why science is here. What do we do as scientists? What do we do as researchers? Our job is to keep, once we see something natural that is beautiful as a scientist, our job is to find out what makes that product such an amazing product. And then we can go into the labs and create a synthetic alternative such that when the natural one depletes, the synthetic can come in. It's the same thing applies across every product you see today. I'm talking about even supplements. During the last 2 episodes, Dr. Clifford talked about calcium and bioavailability. Why ours has the highest bioavailability is because it's naturally extracted. But most of the calcium products we take today, supplements, are synthetic. And that's because we can produce calcium in the lab just like you can extract from nature. The same thing happens across board. So we're having a lot of synthetic materials today currently being used for sanitary napkin, and that poses a lot of health risks. Now, this is literally a graphic image of what today's disposable pads are made like. First of all, they are made from synthetic materials, like I talked about, synthetic fiber, synthetic rayon, and then from recycled papers. How many of us actually know that majority of the toilet tissue that we use is made from recycling? Recycling came in early 21st century, and it's been big because we don't even have natural resources anymore. So we don't have a choice than to recycle papers, recycle boxes, then we bleach them. Once you bleach them, what do you have? They are back to normal. You can use them for tissues. You can use them for anything. So because of the products that are used for today's disposable pads, actually it's disposable, you're not supposed to wear it for long. Honestly, some of these disposable pads are okay because if you wear them for 2 to 3 hours, it doesn't have effect. But some of us, we will wear one pad because we're not having heavy flow. We can wear one pad from morning till night. That is not how they were meant to be used, and that causes a lot of issues. First of all, because of the way they are made, the pads are damp, usually quite damp, exposed to damp. Once you recycle and you don't properly sterilized. You get that, you get such. They're usually unsterilized. They're always impermeable to air because there's always going to be little bits of plastics left in the process of recycling or synthesizing these products. Now, because of the chemicals that are used in bleaching or recycling this product, there has been a lot of publication that has linked the presence of dioxin and other harmful chemical substances to the products, the parts that we're using today. Again, they are cytotoxic because they are not, they're synthetic. So they can have, they can pose toxicity to the cells around the vagina and around the uterus. These are the things that we use because we don't know, we use. They say ignorance is bliss, and this is what is going on here. All of us will buy the sanitary napkins that we see in the market, we use them, we don't even open them up to analyze them. The first time I actually opened up a sanitary towel was when I joined Longbridge, and I had to do a demonstration. I was like, are you kidding me? I was screaming, what's going on? What kind of product is this? Ignorance is bliss. I just felt that the boils I was having on second and third day of my period was normal. I felt that those little pains I was having on the first day of my period was normal. I'm a woman, they are normal pains. No, they are not. Materials used for the sanitary pads, that's the problem. That's the honest truth. The infections that people get third, fourth day, or at the end of the period, you start treating infection. It's not normal. It's actually a function of the material of the sanitary towels. But I didn't know until I partnered with Longbridge, and today I'm living healthier and more confident in myself as a woman. Honestly, every woman, you will know that if you have a good sense of perception, once you start perceiving a smell down there, whatever the smell is, either from infection or from period odor, whatever it is, you lose your self-confidence. You're not yourself. But, you know, now that we are aware, you're going to ask yourself, what is the cost of your health? What is the cost of your self-confidence compared to whatever it is you're using today? Let's move on, guys. So what's the solution? Again, my favorite Longbridge steps in. I just like how this company is gradually stepping in to solve one problem or the other Just always stepping in to solve problems. You know, we're talking about problems involving our health. Remember, towards a beautiful lifestyle. That's what we all want, right? And so they kicked in, they did their research, 4 years research and development before they came out with this part. It took them 4 years of neck deep research and development to come out with the sanitary napkin range. And then I talked about green chip technology when I talked about the energy pots the last time. The same technology was actually applied here as well. And guess what? Just for these sanitary napkins, in China, Longbridge obtained 4 invention patents. You know, in China, they award 3 kinds of invention patent. They have the one for utility, the one for design, and the one for invention. So there was a lot of invention and a lot of thought put in these pads, sanitary napkin ranges. And so they were awarded 4 patents and also certified globally and locally. So we have the International Standard Organization and all of that one, the quality test and the state testing reports. Longbridge sanitary napkins passed all of this with flying colors. Okay. Now, so if you ask a typical woman, what are the properties you would want in your sanitary napkin? One of the things they'll tell you is it must be very absorbent, because a lot of women have heavy flow. Some will tell you there should be no leakage. It's so inconveniencing when there's leakage. And that person will say, okay, so I have two odors here. I should have removed one. It should be odor free, like literally no odor. You know, some of the materials used for our pads, especially the ones we use in Africa, the disposable ones, when they are dry, they have no smell. But try to wet it, not even when you're on your period. Keep the pad and wet it. It will start coming up with one funny odor, let alone when you are on your period. So sometimes that odor you perceive is a combination of the odor from the poor material and your period, okay? Then there should be no noise. You know, when you're wearing your pad, especially those very nylon and paper ones, you're working, it is helping you make some sounds. It's irritating your thighs, you know. Some women don't want that. Some women also want a pad that stays in place, okay? And it's a very comfortable one, especially for the thin, very thin body shaped kind of pad, not those ones that once they are full, to be like you're wearing a baby diaper, and the baby cannot, you know, when baby's diapers are full and they can't move, you know, a high level of hygiene, also a dry surface. These are things people want. And Longreach just thought about it. Can't we make a pad that can give you all of this? They can. Okay, let's do research. What do we put in our pads? What are the things we can use to make our pads to come out and give a woman all the desirable properties and comfort? And that is what we're going to look at. And so Longreach has, in features of their pad, 8 layers of protection, which gives it 5 outstanding functional features. 8 layers of protection. Every layer is carefully thought through to provide a certain benefit and advantage to you to help give you that desire you want from your sanitary napkin. So every layer of that is thought through. And I'm going to talk you through them one after the other. Like literally, I don't know if you've ever just bring out your pad, a Longreach pad, and just use the back, and you see, you know, this is the most sensitive part, and just rub it. You will see how smooth. There's no iota of roughness, ultra smooth. And now, besides being ultra smooth, it's hypoallergenic. What that means is that it actually poses the least risk of allergy, no allergies at all. It's actually made to prevent any form of allergy. So if normally you react to even cotton, you will not react to this kind of cotton. And it's made with 100% cotton. All the 8 layers are 100% cotton embedded, literally. So with this surface, which is a very premium surface, it's quite expensive. That's well thought out, thin, lovely surface. It provides ultra comfort. It actually prevents skin irritations during your periods. You don't know you're wearing it. It will enhance breathability. Breathability means the ability for the vagina to get air. We know the difference between cotton and nylon. If you go to the market now, you want to buy a cotton shirt and you want to buy a polyester shirt, I am sure you know that the cotton shirt will be more expensive. Why? Cotton is breathable. Very, very breathable. It allows air to pass through. Nicely woven fabric. That's what cotton is, right? The pads enhance freshness. That maintains the freshness of the vagina. You know, a natural vaginal freshness has this lovely fragrance. I don't know if any of us have ever perceived it in a woman. Once you've finished having your bath in the morning, give it like 1-2 hours, let the bacteria kick in. Perceive it, you will perceive, you know. So I was reading somewhere today, and like the 5 senses actually will be used to taste to detect a perfect vagina. Taste, for those that can taste, smell, you know, touch, the feel, and all of that. The eye, the way, the healthy vagina, you can see that in the look. You know, please, I hope everybody here is over 18. I'm just shouting because today is talking about vagina and I don't hide it. And it's because of this hide of vagina that we are always having women go through stress without being able to talk about it. Okay,
we are all seeing, we are all
there may be some parents with children. That's why I'm also talking. Yeah, so we're talking about maintaining freshness. The second layer of protection is that it's leak proof. So there's a 3-dimensional, so it's not just a normal 3D flap designed perfectly to prevent side leakage. So if you watch a video, maybe on my page today, I'll put up a video that I did demonstrating the Longreach sanitary pads. But if you watch a perfect video of the pads, you will see the 2 flaps on the side, perfectly shaped. You know, it's like almost rectangular, 3D. It prevents leakages on the side, literally. So you can't have side leakages. Now, the third one is a patented strip. It's a patented strip, and that's the strip that gives the Longreach sanitary pad, that makes it extra unique. The other layers make this pad unique. Most of the sanitary pads that we use only have 3 layers, maximum 4. But Longreach came with reinforced 8 layers. One of the layers will be this anion strip. It's called anion strip. It's called anion strip, but it's beyond anion. It's electromagnetic and it's got far infrared. Now, the function includes eliminating odor, relieving menstrual discomfort. It actually does energize, not just your cell, your entire body. Energy through the entire body. It prevents itchiness, treats infection, and can also promote blood circulation. The fourth layer of guaranteed freshness is what we call an air-laid paper. Air-laid paper, it's actually a kind of sheet. It actually wraps the fifth and sixth layers in a 360-degree covering to enforce as absorption and keep the surface fresh. So the papers are usually soft, very soft. They're porous though, with high absorption properties, taking it all the way down to the fifth layer, which I will explain to you, that does the absorption, which is the wood polymer. Air-laid papers, you see them in in premium products like top quality diapers. You see them there, adult diapers, children diapers. You see the air-laid papers there in top quality diapers, by the way, not all of them. Now we have that layer, the fifth layer, that gives it the high-tech absorbency. It's just an absorbent paper. Funny enough, it's a super absorbent paper, but it's embedded with hydrogel polymers from wood fiber. Remember, we told you Long Beach only does natural. So the polymers are not synthetic polymers like you have in other parts. The polymers that does absorption in our product, in our pad, are natural from wood fiber, hydrogel. So they are inserted in the fifth layer. It has excellent liquid locking capacity and converts the liquid to non-sticky gels almost instantly. And this layer can absorb more than 200 milliliters of liquid without reverse osmosis. Okay, and with this feature, it helps the skin to remain dry, preventing adverse skin reaction. Imagine that you're flowing and you're filled. The surface is super soft with blood. Guess what? The first thing that is going to happen because of the dampness and moisture and wetness is that there's going to be reduced flow of oxygen. And guess what? That promotes the growth of anaerobic bacteria and also just the fungi, the candidas, all swimming in to enjoy themselves because they are all anaerobic. Anaerobic means they don't like air, right? So that's the fifth function. Then we have the sixth function. I call it the reinforced protection. Another air-laid paper, such that if there's anything that skips the first, skips the wood polymer, the third air-laid paper gets it trapped. Literally, okay? So it further absorbs any impurities that escapes the first. So all impurities in your system are just supposed to remain in the middle between the two air-laid papers. They're not supposed to pass through to your undies, because when they pass through to your undies, if you don't wash them well, when you wear the undies again, you are at risk of infection. So, and also they enhance softness and freshness. Then the seventh property is the air permeable bottom layer. Oh my God. This is, for me, this is the selling point of the sanitary pad, because I have used many sanitary pads in my life. You see that bottom layer? Some of them will use nylon. You'll be dragging the nylon will be dragging you. This one is a breathable bottom layer that will allow air. So if you're wearing a good pants first, air passes through the pants, it will definitely pass through the bottom layer, because without air during your periods, you are going to have all those discomforts that you have. All those discomforts, that is what causes it. The vagina needs air, it loves air. Okay, now this bottom layer is made of highly resistant materials with microscopic pores formed using what we call a laser boring technique. So they use a laser boring technique, which is, like I said, Long Beach loves technology, and they pride in their technology. Technology that keeps giving them patents every single year, right? So they're using the laser boring technique. We have those microscopic pores, and that makes it smooth. Now, the same air-laid paper eliminates moisture and heat, because there's this kind of flow, there's bound to be a lot of moisture, there's bound to be a lot of heat. But with the presence of that breathable bottom layer that allows a lot of air to come in, we are going to have reduced heat between the napkin and the skin. And of course, the vaginal skin is like the most sensitive skin, right? So imagine that heat causing the irritation on the vaginal skin. And then it reduces dampness, and then it keeps the users fresh and comfortable. I'll talk a little more about the adhesive, because the adhesive used on the bottom layer is food grade. When we mean food grade adhesives that you can use to cook, to use in your kitchen, and it has absolutely no health risk. Okay, and it has the following most desirous features for any sanitary napkin. Every adhesive should have a free tab at the end of each napkin for easy grab. If you use a long reach pad, you'll notice that there are some pads I've used that you have to start pulling from the beginning. This one has that easy grab at the top. Now, the adhesive should hold in place and shouldn't snap back during usage. So I've used some pads in the past that just keep snapping back when you're in use. Now, it does not transfer to underwear during removal. This is the one that I used to hate. You'll be trying to remove pad. Before you know it, you see a lot of white things on your pants. The adhesive, these are even the ones you can see. How about the ones you cannot see being transferred to your pants? I said Long Beach puts a thought into every single detail of their products, and that's why I like them. The adhesive should prevent leakage on all angles. Now, because of the close proximity to skin, the adhesive used should be non-cytotoxic, should not be cytotoxic, meaning should not pose any toxicity to the cells around the vagina. That's why Longwy chose the food grade adhesive that they know is safe and has no adverse effect on the body. Now, it should also be stable despite exposure to inappropriate conditions. Have you seen a situation where you kept a pad in maybe a moist environment, a not so airy environment, you come back, you see the pad growing molds? You will not easily see that with a long reach product because those things sometimes start from the non-synthetic, from the synthetic adhesives that are used. But Long Beach tries to avoid that and try to use close to natural adhesives, okay? Now, another layer of protection. So Long Beach, like I said, gives you 8 layers of protection across their sanitary pads and panty liner. The packaging, the safe packaging. So we have the 8th layer being that release film. Oh, I don't know, I should have actually brought my pad here, you know, so it's got a 360-degree height packaging. That part, you see, when you open the sanitary, the outer, it has an outer packaging and an inner packaging. When you open the outer packaging, you take the inner one. If you dump it into water, it will not sink in because it's airtight, 360 degrees airtight. Prevents secondary contamination, just in case you decide to remove one. You know, some of us, when we are going to work, we remove 1 or 2. We don't want to carry the whole pack. So we remove 1 or 2 and put inside our handbags. Those handbags that will contain, may contain ants, cockroach, even rats, because some of us have rats in our house that will carry from our house to office. Because we put biscuit, you put groundnut, you put everything in the same handbag, you don't wash it. And so all of them will just be following the handbag and be going. One day you drop by, you start shouting, cockroach, this is the same bag you put your pants. Because of that, imagine that you put those other pads that don't have the 360 airtight degree covering. What do you think will happen? You're just simply inviting all the bacteria. It's already infected before you use it. So imagine that you are using an infected pad. What then becomes of us? That's why we have to be extra careful. Now, the additional protection is not just that inner 360 soft packaging, but it's actually the outer package. I don't know if any of us have ever taken time to examine the outer packaging of our pad. It's made from food grade aluminum foil and it's resealable. And when you reseal it, it stays sealed. And all the inner and outer packages are environmentally friendly, so you can dispose. Most of the other pads you have, the packages are nylons that they're not environmentally friendly. They just keep blocking everywhere, blocking, and creating nuisance, literally. Now let's talk about the 5 additional outstanding features. I know I've taken more than my 20 minutes, but let's talk about the 5 outstanding functional features that you get from those 8 layers of protection. Number 1 is the safety. You get double protection from secondary contamination, both from the outer and the inner packaging. Second, we talked extensively about the comfort because of the hypoallergenic, close-fitting, soft, ultra soft surface. And then third, there's this high-tech level of absorbency, and it does it very quickly as well. It does it very quickly and then eliminates the whole sticky sensation that makes a woman feeling so uncomfortable. It's air permeable because of the premium bottom layer. So your risk of infections, secondary contaminations and infections aren't there. And then of course we have this Most amazing function from the strip, the health benefits, the extra thought out. Now, all the things I've been talking to you about are just benefits from the materials, but now we have the additional health benefits owing to the presence of the magnetism, anions, and far infrared. These are properties you find in the green strip. I'll start with the electromagnetism, okay? You see this number when you look at the pad. This number just means it conforms with the China Association of Standards. I'm going to stop here to say something. You see, when we say Chinese products are inferior products, it is because they are manufactured for outside of China. You see products made in China for China, they cannot be inferior. Their levels and standards are too high. Too high. Honestly, it can be sometimes annoying. They are always going after the best quality. When Longreach had to register for direct selling in China, the amount of money they paid to register for direct selling in China will register 100 direct selling companies in US, in UK. That's to tell you that when China wants to do something, they do it well. And that's why I always say that if these products are sold in China, mainland China, are given patents in mainland China, then these products are worth our time. Not just the one that they are making to send to us in Nigeria. So this product conforms to China Association of Standards, and then the CAS 115/2005 is allocated to textiles with healthy benefits and no toxic effects. None, no toxic effect. That is when they are located. So this strip you have has healthy benefits with no toxic effects. Okay, and I talked about the green chip revolution earlier. It activates, so every human being, we produce this magnetic energy field from, there's this electromagnetic thing that happens, and we produce magnetic fields around the circle that helps communication between the cells and the surrounding cells, right? So the green chip technology literally just activates those internal bioenergy fields, further accelerating our intracellular electrical activity. Intracellular just means within the cell. So the activities, so that's why when you say something, they say it gives energy. It's because it has sort of, when you activate something, it just kind of excites. So that's what the green chip technology does. So it gives it the whole redundancy just goes away. It wakes it up, literally. That's the function. And research has shown that this biomagnetism could speed up discharge of toxins during menstrual periods. Could speed up discharge of toxins. It could actually increase vaginal enzyme content. It could raise acidity of vaginal secretions. We need to understand that the vagina needs to remain acidic for it to function optimally. If your vagina is testing anything close to alkaline, you have a very bad infection and it is treated. The vagina is actually acidic and also produces acidic secretions, which maintains the vagina, both the pH, and also improves resistance to infection. Because of how sensitive our vagina is also very prone to infection. And so we need to keep it resistant to infections as well. Okay. And then it can improve cellular reactivity, which will also help enhance general immunity. It can enhance vitality of cells and prolongs life. So these are some research that's carried out. Dr. Esther, please help me mute yourself. So these are some research that has been carried out based on the biomagnetism. The next function is the anions. Negative ions. So you also have a code showing here when they talk about anions in our booklets and everything. So the SFJJ is literally a unique cotton fiber that releases negative ions upon excitations, right? And we know what negative ions are, and ions are, they're called vitamins of life. Okay, now the number you see here reflects a dynamic system that can be used to detect the quantity of negative ions released upon excitation. And excitation most times is usually through friction or through, when you wetness or moisture. Presence of moisture or friction will lead to release of anions from that material. So the negative ion concentration range . Okay, that's fine. So the negative, can you all hear me? Okay.
Yes, we
right.
can.
So the negative ion concentration range that can be detected from this strip is between 4,000 to 6,000 per cubic meter. And this can be released upon excitation through friction. And of course, the negative ion range tolerable is as much as 15,000 cubic nanometer per cubic nanometer. So we have we are at the lower range. And that is why sometimes when people want more excitation, they go for anion stones and beads because that has the higher range of anions that can work faster. When you know the functions of the anions, you actually know what it can do. So research shows that anions could purify the air. I keep telling people that when they say they are testing for anions in the air, you go to places that have less pollution. Even the feel of the moisture on your skin will tell you how rich of the negative ions in that area is. Okay, anions will also increase the amount of oxygen in the environment, which of course will counter the breeding of anaerobic bacteria. I've said it before, anaerobic bacteria or even anaerobic environment. Please, Samson Divine, stop drawing. You're actually going to make this difficult for us to continue. So it counters the breeding of anaerobic bacteria or makes the area more aerobic, preventing the growth of candida, which is one of the most toxic products, toxic organism that just disturbs the vaginal area. Okay, eliminate odor. Oh, fantastic. I have tested this severally with the magnetic strip, that green strip. It's one of the best odor removals, literally. It can prevent itching. Also, I'm a personal testimony of the Long Beach Sanitary Napkin. I'll share that at the end. It will fight external bacteria and it can actually forestall the disease within the body. We also have the far infrared component of the same green strip that also has that also confirms the China Association of Standards, right? The strip emits far infrared with a wavelength of 4 to 14 microns. This is within the non-ionization range and is perfectly 100% safe. We have already seen a lot of publications going around globally of the therapeutic effect of far infrared. Long Beach caught this early and made it a part of the sanitary napkin. And it is this far infrared that gives it that core therapeutic effect of period pain, relieving period pains. All right. And then the emissivity, that's how much of it can emit. It can emit as much as 90% of far infrared. And that is what helps. Okay, so this excitation of cellular activity will stimulate local blood circulation. So it speeds up blood circulation, and at the same time, of course, it's being purified, prevents gynecological diseases and relieves associated symptoms. So many gynecological diseases consistently using this product with the range of the far infrared being emitted, it can actually prevent it or even relieve some symptoms that have come as a result of it. Okay, it relieves painful periods because it gradually increases the local temperature. Far infrared, because of the local temperature, has very powerful anti-inflammatory properties, very powerful, and also antioxidant properties as well. And then it enhances self-healing, so it allows your body to heal. Now, I want to make sure I make this clear. All the functional properties that we've talked about are minerals processed into nanoparticles. Remember the first day I talked about Long Beach infusing nanotechnology into their products. And this is the core nanotechnology. So functional materials are minerals processed into nanoparticles. There are no chemicals in our sanitary towels. It is safe, it is free of toxicity, and it has absolutely no side effect. It's free of side effects as well. So this is how the sanitary napkins are presented in the Long Beach. We've got the mixed box of pad that has the heavy flow or night use, the normal flow or day use, the light flow panty liners. So I also put the measurements here, the length, so you will know the heavy flow is pretty long, 280 nanometers. I have checked most of the sanitary napkins we have in the market. They are always within the range of 240 to 260, but we had the heavy flow that went up to 280. As a matter of fact, when I was in China last year, I bought this one. I still have it. It's called extra large. I don't know why they haven't brought it to Nigeria. I bought this one that is as long as, I think, 330 nanometers. Like it starts from the front. It's like as long as your pants. Starts from the front and goes all the way to the back, literally. So they have that. So we also have the pads, you know, pad only box if you want the pad only, and we have the panty liner only box. So a summary of the benefits of the pads, the first is that it relieves primary dysmenorrhea. It's super comfortable. The side flaps prevents side leakage, so it's leak-free. 100% odor free. Like, you won't even remember you're on your period. Sometimes what reminds women that they're on their period is that smell, especially when you know you get to somewhere that's a bit hot. It's that smell that oozes, you know, but you won't remember you're on your period. It's super absorbent, made from 100% cotton, and it prevents all that irritations that come up after your period or towards the end, and it leaves the surface so dry, like as if you're not even on your period. The panty liner is also part of the sanitary napkin range, and you know, for me, it's my bulletproof against infection. All my adult life, as far as I can remember, I've had one form of vaginal infection or the other. I keep thinking, oh, as long as I share a toilet, it's following me. As long as I share, I remember when I was in the hostel, right? You're in the hostel, and I don't take my bath in the mornings, because if I do, I have to use the toilet, and the cleaners come in the morning. So I miss, if I have a 7-8 o'clock class, I'm sure to miss it, because I can't go without having my bath. So I have to wait. When the cleaners come, as they are going, with all the smell of bleach, I will run in to have my bath. That's the only time I can use the toilet, because I stayed in the hostel. But guess what? I think even the bleach was causing adverse effects for me. But I think I chose that against the infection. I go to a public place, and I have to use a public restroom. I am carrying my antifungal cream in my bag. So imagine my joy. Then after my period, 2-3 days after my period, towards the end of my period, I start with all those other skin irritations, boils. Is either it boils today, or it's a peeling or whatever today. Now, imagine that 6 years. This is going to be my 7th year since I started using sanitary napkin. I have not bought one single antifungal cream or tablet. I've not had a single vaginal itch, because I have my bulletproof going on with me. So this is literally the way the bulletproof, see this picture? This is literally how I feel using my sanitary napkin, as if I'm super protected. It could treat also a lot of infections when used post-infection, because of the properties we've talked about. We've seen the properties and what it can do. If it can restore your vaginal pH and restore vaginal acidity, that means it can get rid of all those anaerobic bacteria and fungi that is actually causing the problems. It prevents and treats candida. It also eliminates odor. So when you're not on your period, you use the panty liner. It relieves period pain. It's anti-inflammatory. Prevents prostate enlargement for men because of the anti-inflammatory properties as well. And we also have people saying it does release pile and hemorrhoids, again, because of the far infrared anti-inflammatory properties as well. Okay, so these are also some of the benefits of the panty liner. And this is the end of my presentation. We'll take your questions going forward. Thank you.